welcome back to Open School of Business. This session of fall 2021, we're continuing on finance topics, and today I'm really excited to introduce you to Giundiuz Osmanov, CEO and the founder of NumberSquad company. He has a wealth of experience in accounting and finance area, and he's here today to talk about financial tips for small businesses, and also what is very important, his journey as an entrepreneur and starting up a tech company in the area of accounting and finance. Welcome, Giundiuz.
Thank you, and thank you for the interview. I really appreciate that.
To start off, I think it's very important to find out what is your experience in the accounting area, and as a small business owner yourself, what kind of advice can you give to our audiences when starting up the business in terms of their financial structure and overall approach that they should take?
Sure. I have over 15 years of experience in public accounting, and I've worked with hundreds of, if not thousands, of small business owners. During that time, I figured out their challenges and what they need to do. I would suggest that any small business owner who starts their business, from the beginning, they need to get proper advice from accounting professional and the finance professional, and they need to build from the beginning. So they have to get, when they get this consulting, they also get education going forward, how to they're going to manage their finances and their taxes. Second, I would advise them not to control their finances, to have a good control over their business finances, but not to go to detail, to leave the work to the professional and outsource their finances and the tax, all those tasks. So because they have to focus on to growing their customers, they need to focus on making their business grow, but not to involve in tasks. Especially, I see that because there are a lot of online tools, and many small business owners tended to use them, but when they don't have proper knowledge, and they actually make it more difficult and more complicated. So it's better to start from the beginning with the proper advice and outsource their finances and taxes to the professionals.
Yes, and I think that's a very good one. Although a lot of people would ask the follow-up question, how do I know how to hire the right professional? And also, I want to be cost effective. I want to bootstrap when I'm just starting out. I'm sure a lot of people do like, utilizing all these free tools. So what is the balance there? How can they do both?
In that case, they have to first compare the value and also value that they are gonna get from the free tools and the time that they are gonna spend on that. Because time is, when you start a business, time is very important. You need to be fast. But of course, there are free tools available. Plus, nowadays, it's actually much easier to find resources online compared with like 10 years before, 20 years before.
Yeah.
They can check the reviews. They can look for the capacity of that companies, and the online is, I think, is the best way to go and do the research.
Right. The today world is everything online, and There's so
That's
much
right.
information. Sometimes it's really hard to concentrate. Um, and our audiences, most of them are either already business owners, and there are some who are looking into it, and they already have a whole lot of experience in certain expertise that they're bringing. And I think you're a perfect example of such professional who did a lot of work in accounting arena and then decided to open their own firm and start up a new technology firm in that area. So the first question about that, the business that you're in, what were the biggest challenges when you started, and how are they different now from 2011 when you started, and now it's almost 10 years later? So first of all, it's good job that you stayed so long in that business.
Yes.
And obviously a lot of us would be interested, how did you overcome all these challenges to actually be in business for 10 years?
I started over 10 years. You are right about that, since 2011. But I started as a Fairfax Tax Services, and it was a traditional public accounting firm. And we were serving individual taxpayers and also small business owners. But however, over the time, I realized that this is not if you want to scale your company, and also clients' expectations change. They expect much faster and instant results. So starting from 2019, we changed from traditional public accounting firm to build a startup as a NumberSquad, and to use the technology to scale the business and also solve a number of problems for our small business clients. So the biggest challenge was the pivot. So we did the pivot here. And while you do, what I mean with the pivot is that, for example, first you have to identify the problems of your clients, your target customers, and then over time you change your methods, and then sometimes you also change the target customers over and over. For example, we are now, our target is that our clients are usually revenues less than $5 million. Pivoting is very important to find the right way. The second challenge was that when you have an idea, and you have to first believe in that yourself, and you have to measure that it's gonna work. After that, I have faced a lot of resistance from the team, for example, because I already had a team, and you need to convince them, and then you have to build a team that is gonna work on the new entity, new business, new startup. So finding the right people is really, really important. For example, right now, as our co-founders, we have a CTO, Nadir Shafiev. He has experience in development and engineering in IT field. I have Ramiz. He's actually PMP certified. His background is in project management. So attracting those key people is really important, and team is one of the key pillar of that. So convincing those people is important.
Yes, I think it's the first number one thing. And it's very challenging because when you're working for a company and you work with people, there's always a structure already defined. But when you're on your own and looking for people to join, then you have to think about how much salary you're going to pay them. Are they going to be flexible and agile like you are as an entrepreneur. So all these things you have to take into account. And just out of curiosity, how did you meet and decide about your team and your co-founders? Was it like a long-term relationship before you had them go on board, or it was more because you were interested in business together?
So when I started, I first checked with my network. Of course, you promote your ideas to them, and you also look at their qualifications, if they are the right person for the job. So you go from there, and on the way, uh, uh, through connections or through your my old network. So I found them somehow. I convinced them, and they joined.
Right. It's really important to have that network and to nurture it. And that's why I say that transitioning from a full-time job to a business can be challenging, but also as a professional, you've already done half of the work. You already have the skills and the qualifications, plus you already know the people in your area. So that's really nice.
Thank you.
Um, and if you were to, think about it again, what you've done and like your journey as an entrepreneur, or what kind of advice would you give to your younger self in terms of when you started the business?
Uh, I would say that I mean nowadays most people get education, but I think education is not enough. They need to expose themselves in a variety of uh, fields. Doesn't matter what job they take, but that's gonna help them to find actually their dream, what they want to do, and from the any startup owner, any business owner, I think they should start with their whatever they like, whatever they love to do. If that's the foundation, uh, they will overcome the challenges much easier, and they're gonna improve themselves and get to that point. And also for the younger people, my advice is that not to worry about making mistakes, because that's how you learn, and it's actually easier to make mistakes and to fail when you are younger, because you have less responsibilities, but that's gonna teach you teach them a lot of lessons, and they're gonna learn a lot from that.
Yeah, that's true. And it's just to follow up on that, like I'm sure in 10 years you've made a lot of things that you took as a lesson learned. And can you share those lessons learned from building your company?
Sure. First thing I would say that uh, too open to the change. Like for example, in my own as a personality, uh, you have to also like a little bit improve that, and maybe change. For example, I'm like as a person, like shy person, even though I'm good in communication with people. So you have to, I have to overcome with that, and it's sometimes very difficult to do it. Uh, and another thing is that to continuously improve, learn, to train yourself to be self-learner. So I try to, because as an entrepreneur, even if you don't have to know very detailed, but you have to you have to have a knowledge of in different fields. For example, marketing. So in order to delegate your marketing tasks to the right person, you have to know what they what tasks you are gonna delegate. So I mean, there are like some other lessons that, for example, I was like not. I pushed myself to be a little bit more like risk taker, because that's one of the key. That took a while. I think those are the things that comes to my mind right now.
Yeah, I think it's very hard to find big risk takers in the accounting arena. I think a lot of accountants are reserved, conservative, and that's how they keep the money on the table. And I think,
That's right.
I was thinking about the whole history of your company, how you first did just services and then pivoted into uh, offering a software that would do a lot of things. And I was thinking, if you actually had to do it from scratch, then maybe not enough capital would be available, because over the years you build up enough capital that you can invest back into your business. So that's an
That's
important step, I think.
that's very true. One of the biggest challenges of starting startups actually to make sure that you are going to be able to make it until you get to the break-even point. Means that the money that you're going to get from the operations is going to cover your expenses. But when if you are building technology and it's expensive,
Right.
and you have to really also able to raise money, maybe starting from family and friends, looking for angel investors from VCs. That's another challenge.
Yeah. Do you have any tips that you'd like to share about raising money?
I mean, we are still continuously raising money. I started, of course, after my personal investment, and you have to, just like as when I mentioned finding the good team, you have to find also people who are interested and who are going to believe in your idea and to invest. So I approached to some of my friends and also some of clients, and now we are working on with a couple venture capitalists and to raise more money.
Right. I really hope that it works out well, and you'd be able to find the investor who can bring a lot of money and also a lot of knowledge and improve the product. So if you were to just put it in a couple of sentences, what is the biggest value your company brings now with the NumberSquad software?
NumberSquad, we simplified and made small business accounting convenient by minimizing the business owners' involvement, but having full control of their finances and taxes in their mobile apps or web online apps. And everything is in one place, like all their documents. There is a great document management in that. Plus, we combine all the services they get. For example, bookkeeping, taxes, payroll. Everything is in one place, so they don't have to deal with different companies. They don't have to work with different professionals. Plus, we are working on the dashboard that gives them not the full information about their finances and taxes, but the key information that they need so they can make good decisions about their business growth.
Right. That's really exciting. I think it's what business owners sometimes don't think about when they're price shopping, like the convenience of having all in one and dealing with only one company. It's can really shorten the time and less time you spend on your budgeting and accounting more time you spend on actual core business and attracting new customers. So I think that that's a really good innovation. And I'm really happy that you're focusing on the small businesses, because big corporations, they already have it figured out for many years, and they're taking advantage of all the different nice new technology that allows them to be more productive. So this is a really good step in terms of helping small businesses grow and become more resilient. Thank you so much today for your presence and for sharing information about your company and how you got to this point of owning a business and still growing and pivoting into not only accounting services, but actually a tech company that can provide all these things, all the services seamlessly and more cost effective. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.